in reporting. Reporting is also important because if you cannot manage to make a proper audit report, then you will also fail because you will not be able to relay the information that the organization needs to improve on. Okay? This will be a challenge. I think the creation of the checklist and the creation of the audit report will be the most challenging part of it because it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes real concentration to be able to do this. But by true practice, you will be able to succeed. And I know. I've been there. So if I manage to like and enjoy it, then you will for sure definitely. And then completion is the closing meeting.
For the reporting, is there a duration and a time limit?
7 days. So audit notice and audit report. So audit notice, you will have to send it 7 days before your audit schedule. And then the report, you should be able to send it to them 7 days after the audit. Okay. And then if there's any non-conformance, then you do the follow-up audit if it's required. So, having said that, so you know already the format. Audit notice is very easy. So this is the some guides on how you can create the effective checklist. Again, you have to be specific. So like what you've seen here, I'm very specific. I put the requirements and then I put what do I need to check. Okay. And then you have to be concise. Make your question as short as possible. You don't need to create the whole sentence. Look at this. I only took the key points. Computer printout, plan type, computer control. No need for the whole grammatical novel thing. Easily understood. So if you want to ask it, if you want to type it in Tagalog or in your own Arabic language, then it's your use, no? So no tick type. Use who, when, why, where, what, and how. What does it mean? The very, 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 very wrong thing when you do a checklist is when you make a checklist that is answerable by a yes or a no. Because nothing is there. You will not get anything. Because the auditee will just say yes, no, yes, no. So it's like a wrong call. So always ask who is in charge, when do you normally do it, why are you doing it, where do you do it, what is the process, and how you carry out the process. Okay? And then cover key important items, correct sequence, and appropriate format. Correct sequence, when you prepare an audit, keep in mind the input, process, output. What is the inputs that they need to carry out their job? What are the controls in the process, and then what is the output? And then base your questions on that. Okay, so that you don't get lost.
Documents received from the auditor will be enough for you or sometimes like it's not.
It depends on your audit objective. So again, so if your audit objective is limited to the documents that they are sending, then yes. But if you think you need to check QCS requirements, you need to check contract requirements, you need to check other legal requirements, then you have to search for reports. So performing an audit, you need to perform opening meeting. For the opening meeting, okay, remember this because we are gonna do some workshop and then I will ask each one of you to do this so that you can already practice. Introduction of the participants. Again, if it's an internal, you still have to introduce yourself. Whether it's internal, if it's first party, if it's second party or third party, you always introduce yourself. Particularly when it's second and third party because you don't know each other very well. Okay? Confirmation of the audit objective, audit scope, and audit criteria. You hold your audit notice. So good morning everyone, my name is Criselda. I'm here to do this audit. The objective of today's audit is to verify compliance of this department to this based on the objectives that we've set. And then audit scope, we will cover this particular area of your processes. And then the audit criteria will be, I will be checking your internal procedures. I will be looking at the QCS requirements. I will be looking at the contract requirements to verify that you are actually complying with all these requirements. This is the one. Confirmation of the audit timetable and other audit arrangement. So the audit proper will start in 10 minutes after this, immediately after the opening meeting. Let me know. Please let us know if there's anything that we need to prepare for before we go on site. Maybe use of PPE, maybe use of any other access, so that you are clear that you're wearing the right suit for the audit, or you're wearing the right PPE for the audit. If it's a desktop audit, then there's no need to ask that question. Okay? Desktop meaning office space. You're not going on site. Methods and procedures to be used. So I will be collecting evidence based on the documents that you will present, based on the areas that I will observe, and I will ask for additional evidence during the entire course of the audit. Okay. Confirmation of the formal communication channels between the auditee and the audit team. So from time to time, we will be asking if there will be audit guides who can guide us to clarify some questions if the auditee will not be able to answer the questions. And then, confirmation of language to be used. Well, English is the international language because not all team members are with the same language. Okay, so you can skip that part. Confirmation in keeping the audit team updated in the progress of the audit. So like I said, so from time to time, we will be checking in on the in charge, on the main person of the audit team to update them. Sometimes they are not interested, but better to mention. Confirmation of availability of resources, confidentiality. This is very important. You always have to say this. Rest assured that this audit is only between the auditors, the auditees, and the other members of the audit teams. The client may be involved because we will be sharing them the final audit results, but other than that, the information will be between the auditees and the auditors. Confirmation of relevant work safety, so we said that already. Confirmation of audit guides. Okay, audit guides is because you cannot go in other organization and then go there on your own. Yeah, you have to have someone with you representing the company, so you can verify that. Let us know who will be the guide, especially when you're not alone. So if it's 2 or 3 of you doing the audit, so one person should be assigned to each one auditor. Because if it's just one person, then you have to wait because it's 3 of you. So you got all 3 cannot ask questions at the same time. Method of reporting and classifications of findings. If in any case, so what's the important thing here? Introduction, confirmation of audit objectives, confirmation of audit timetable, confidentiality, and then method of reporting of classification of findings. If in any case we found any area or process that is not in compliance with the audit criteria that we've set during the audit, we may raise an NCR or an observation, and we will finalize it at the end of the audit. Under which auditee may be terminated information. Okay, this is formality, based on the third-party audit. But what I want you to do now is when we do the workshop is I want you to introduce yourself, confirm the audit objective, scope, and criteria, confirm the audit timetable, and then mention the confidentiality, mention the method of audits that you're going to do, methods and procedures to be used. Methods and procedures, actually it's part of the criteria, but just mention how you intend to do the audit. I will be checking documents, I will go on site, I will be asking questions to the other staff. Okay, so write that down because we're gonna do workshop later on. So, common interview methods. So we proceed. If you don't have last thing that you need to mention in the opening meeting, if is there any question that you need to clarify as early as now? If they say no, okay, thank you, and then we will proceed with the audit. Always ask for clarification. Okay? So after that, you proceed. So there are two common interview methods. Either you can ask for direct, asking direct questions, and support with examples. Confrontational interview technique, indirect, not an investigation, collect example of evidence, then discuss. Making the auditing part of a decision-making process, discussion, interview technique. So direct question is, do you have an organizational chart? And then they show it to you if they have. If they don't, they will say no. And then you will write. And that's it. When they have, then you investigate further. Okay? How many? What is the requirement for QCS? What are the roles in the organization? Or you can ask for a sample. Can I have a sample test report for concrete C4050? And when they give you, then you scrutinize the form. And then you discuss. So what happens here? So when was this tested? What was the result of the test? So there is an interaction between the auditor and the auditor. So open, probing, and close. Open questions, like there is discussion. Probing is there is verification, and the close answerable by a yes or a no. So encourage auditee to talk freely, get enough information, what, where, when, why, how, and who. Caution, prevent, control. Extremely talkative auditee, because this will kill your time. If they say too many things that is not important in your audit, feel free to stop anytime. When you know that it's nonsense already and it's going beyond your audit scope, then sorry, can we proceed with, or can we check this? So you are the manager of your own time. That's why checklist is very important. When you already gather one evidence and you scrutinize and you're happy with it, you write it down and then you proceed with the next question. Okay, no more too many talks. Follow up or focusing questions, search for specific information. This is the cornerstone of effective auditing. Why? Because you are verifying. That's why you probe. Prove to me that this is in compliance with the criteria. So as I mentioned, you have the test report. Okay, the QCS says that the standard testing compressive strength is this, and this. In your lab test result, it shows this. Okay, you're conform. So what happens if it goes beyond? What are you gonna do? So those are probing questions. This is less than the minimum required. So what happens here? Have you investigated? Have you raised non-conformance? Have you escalated the matter? Have you done retesting? So you probe, and then you ask for further evidence. So close, answerable by yes or you know, you don't get too many information here and you don't learn as much because it's just you know already. And then show me. This is the very important question. Can you show me your record? Can you show me your procedure? Can you show me your report? Can you show me your documents? Can you show me your evidence? So when you when you do the opening meeting, you introduce yourself, right? So when you go on site and you do your audit proper, sometimes the people that you're interviewing are not part of the opening meeting, so you have to introduce yourself again. So good morning. Example again, when we did this hearing audit, there was one, I asked some of the coordinators in their shop room. So I asked this one Indian guy, he's the BIM coordinator, and you know, I couldn't understand anything that he's saying because he's shaking and then he's all I can hear is So I have to come in a bit like, Relax, because I feel the nerve. I feel how nervous he is, and I also get palpitations because I can feel his energy. So I said, calm down, relax, shake your body. So I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to eat you alive. I'm just here to ask you questions because I don't know what you're doing. So help me understand how you do your work. So sometimes you have to calm them down. You get scared when you're being audited, of course, because even if I say and even if I tell you that you're there as an auditor to check for conformity, of course, the auditee will always have this doubt that you might find something wrong. Nobody's perfect. I make mistakes. People make mistakes. So they will, and that's the thing, no? When you're auditing, you will always see something. Try to appease and make your auditee feel at ease. So introduce yourself, explain what you're doing. So my mistake at that time was I didn't explain to him immediately. I immediately asked questions because all of them are like circling around me. So I feel like I have to focus on the audit itself. So I forgot that, okay, this guy is afraid. So, and then I tried to catch up and make him feel a little comfortable after. Okay? So, explain who you are, ask questions, ask detailed questions, show me, check facts, thank auditee, and then whenever you leave the area, always say thank you. Okay? Okay, that's it, thank you. Can we proceed to the next? Or can you assist me to go to the next area? What time is it? 8 o'clock. So, we've done this already. We mentioned that you have to do facility tour. This is very useful because it gives you an idea of what is the condition of the organization. So by doing the facility tour, you can already see, okay, this is Kachara, I'm gonna have a big problem here. Or wow, this is very, very nice. When I was still in Road Line, I went to Shanghai to audit Kone factory. Oh my god, it's so amazing. So amazing. I cannot believe that a Chinese factory in China looks that amazing. It's high-tech, it's huge, it's organized, it's systematic, it's super. So that's the benefit of doing an audit. You get to travel and you get to see all these factories that you want to work in. Like, okay, can you,
So it means, ma'am,
can I work for you?
China quality is very
No, I did very good. Not all Chinese made products are kachara after all. Example of what to look for. See, I told you before, like when I do even just a factory site visit or a tour of the site, my eyes and my mind are already working. So you have to check, is there any uncontrolled documents lying somewhere? Staff attitude, are they observing proper PPE when they're working? Are they talking? Are they horse playing, Like especially in factories, they chit-chatting and then they're using conveyors and they're not looking, no? That's why they have always cut fingers. I don't know. So, poorly stored products, okay? So, the materials, where do you store all your materials? Check if there's proper label, especially when it's being used on site. Like, for example, steels, are they labeled? Are they inspected? All these things. So, you have to check. Untidy desks, slippery floors, and records filing. So, even just a simple because these things can also be part of your best practices. So if you see that it's very organized, you can already, that's the easiest part of your job, to appreciate their effort of having a good filing system, a professional and very very cooperative staff, and helpful. So all these things can be part of your best practice comment. So you don't forget to appreciate their effort. They give you coffee or chocolate,
ice cream.
if they give you free lunch. No, you don't put that in your audit report, please. oh, they serve very nice lunch.
They are asking if there's
Keep it to yourself.
food. The time when they audit us.
The auditors.
They're
Sorry,
asking if
they're
there's
cheapskate. But okay, it's common because it's common. Like especially when it's second party or third party, like you have to go to manual letter because you have to please them. But you don't put that in your audit report. That's an open secret. So what you don't wanna do, so you don't wanna be passive, but you wanna be assertive. Don't be too aggressive. So anyway, you know that already. So just act professional. Appearance, appropriate attire, dress appropriate to the task or event. You're going to batching plant. Are you gonna wear dress during the audit? No, no.
High heels.
Baka heels? No. Mannerism, be relaxed and friendly. Don't look so intimidating. It doesn't give you anything positive when you look intimidating. Because first you get the auditees afraid of you, so you can't. They will not give you proper answer because they're scared. So mannerisms, like you're auditing and then you're doing this flipping on the pen. That so it distracts the auditee and then especially for guys, like you're doing this and then the whole table are moving. Like, oh my god. So these are the things that you have to avoid when you're doing the audit. So general attitude, positive expression, smile and be prompt. So the more that the auditees are comfortable, the more that you can get more information. So it's positive side only. So try to ensure that. Pato yung aircon, di ba?
On.
Ah, okay. Body language, close personality. So how are you doing this? So can you give me a record for this? And then your hands are like that, no? And sometimes like there are auditors who sometimes like you feel like they're gonna attack you. I told you there will be a lot of funny people that you will see. And then expression, oh really, I doubt. Like you don't say that. I don't trust you. That's not true. You don't say that during your audit. So again, avoid nitpicking. Nitpicking is fault finding. So we don't look take good points into account, be punctual, avoid argument, audit against specification. Okay, best example. When I went to RMQ, they have this live document for the maintenance of their trucks. So they have in that particular document, there is a legend. B is to be repaired within 15 days period. And then a lot of the items there are code B, okay, which is fine. Then when I look at the date, there are dates that's open since January. So I said, well, in your legend, you said it's gonna be fixed within 15 days, but there is January and it's June now. So what is this telling me? That means that you've not done it yet. No, we've done it. Oh yeah, you've done it. Why you did not update your log? But I know that they've done it. For sure they've done it because these are critical maintenance of the trucks. But the problem is they did not update the file, which is very common. So I told them, I trust that you've done it. So I asked for some documents and they have. So the problem is you have to keep this updated. Because they make an excuse because of COVID, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, but COVID does not stop you from operating. So that should not stop you from doing your job as well. So, you know it's difficult, you know that there is an audit, you should have prepared. But anyway, so in the end, I raise it an observation so that they can update the file. Okay. So, just an example. Respect confidentiality at all stages. So if they tell you that it's okay, sometimes you have to be a good judge here also. Some auditee will tell you, I cannot show you because it's confidential. In hearing audit, the representative for MEP, RKBs, He was very adamant. He was very hesitant. No, I'm not gonna entertain questions because I didn't receive audit notice to that. So you would experience that. And for me, it's fine. Okay, fair enough. But I would put it in my audit report. Because even he is not the main auditor, but I have to verify some information from them so that I can assure that what Kirim is telling me is true. Because there's no evidence eh. So all I can ask is another person. Are they giving you this? Are they coordinating you this? What is the status of the delay? Blah, 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 blah. So if he doesn't want to participate, okay, it's fine. I will put in my audit report that this process cannot be verified because the audit team was not open to giving information, blah, blah, something like that. But then something happened, which is worse. So audits, see, when you're with managers, and then somebody, another manager is acting very arrogant, of course this manager will not tolerate. Excuse me, my friend. We're here to audit hearing, and you are part of their process. So you can tell us nicely, sorry, but I cannot entertain your question because first, we didn't receive any audit notice and we're not prepared for this audit. If you would like, you can come back and then we will discuss. Yes, he's right. Or you can be an asshole. Like that. Okay. So if you're the only female, this is for female. You're the only female and they're all gonna hit each other on the face. So what are you gonna do? You run. Sometimes you will experience this. And this is what makes my life so interesting. Non-conformities must be. So when you raise non-conformance, it should be factual and objective, clear and concise, give clause number of quality standard, company document, be locatable by other auditors, define the exact instance, given a unique identifier, be categorized, and be categorized is not a major issue now because non-conformance is non-conformance, there's no minor, there's no major. Be accepted, signed by the company. When I first came here, the problem that I experienced addressing NCRs are, it's a novel. It's like one whole page only saying that the drawings is not approved. And I have to read 30 minutes. So what is this? Okay? All same numbers, all 00001. So you don't know. All same subject, perimeter wall this, perimeter wall that. Oh my God! So until now we're still confused. So that's the challenge. So and you don't want to do that. So when you make a non-conformance, it should be clear, it should be concise, it should be short. We don't have time to read novels. We're not writers here. No? So as short as we can. So like Sir Resty, when he raise NCR to beton and to focus on what's the problem. So does not achieve the required density for this. So the requirement is density should be 2,200, but you've already reached 1,900. So clearly non-conformance. That's it. You're all engineers. You can read numbers and lines and graphs, not words. So you don't need that. Anyway. Statements outside scope of the audit which may be useful moving towards a non-conformity, environmental, okay. So when do you raise observation? When it's not violating any specific requirements, but you know that it may have a potential issue later on. So you raise an observation. So like for example in the checklist that I've shown you a while ago. So because it's not in the audit report. So because it's not approved, so you put 3. Okay? So it's an observation because they need to respond. Yes, it is B, but there's still comments that needs to be addressed. So it needs to be addressed. Under review status, so you put 3. IFC drawings for priority package P5, P3 for MEP was submitted 14 June 2020. The rest of the packages are still pending for 100% DD. Here and activities to ensure that the MEP package submissions are expedited. Since the architectural package is still work in progress, Hiriman Arcades needs to develop strategies on how they can both work on the model simultaneously. The problem here is architectural packages are behind, way behind. So MEP cannot proceed because if they will keep on changing the drawings for the architectural, it will affect their submissions also. So what they can do is either they freeze one particular stage and then MEP will work on that freeze drawings so that later on they will just add any additional or changes in that particular freeze model. So, but they're not doing it because they're both catching up. So that's why all these drawings are having a big problem. Anyway. So I cannot raise it as a non-conformance because problem here is the planning schedule keeps on changing. There is no original schedule of when the drawing should be submitted. So that's why everything is on time, delayed for a few days. You're not gonna raise NCR for a few days delayed for sure. But that's not entirely true. No, they've been delayed for months. So I cannot raise NCR because the document says few days delayed. Okay, so I can only raise it as an observation.
Where's your observation with the non-cooperative?
No, I did
You don't
not.
put it.
Because he eventually went to the meeting room and explained his side. Because he was scolded by LBQP and QAQC. Imagine how big he is and then, excuse me, my friend! So he got scared. Okay, closing. So provide a balanced summary and conclusion. So when you close the meeting, always starts with the best practices. So again, so thank you. Say thank you to the auditee for the time and effort that they provided during the entire course of the audit. Just to mention the whole summary of the audit activity. So for the good part, like we observed, the auditors observed that there is a good system in place for the filing system or for the cleanliness of the organization, of the facility. So you say that, and then you mention the observation, and then you mention the non-conformance. Okay? So you can always ask them, like, do you have any objection or any justification that you want to clarify during this closing meeting? Because you don't want to end the closing meeting and then later on when you finish the audit report, they will complain that this is not in non-conformance. So this is what happened to the RMQ audit. They only have 2 auditors. So one for quality and then one for health and safety. And they have so many batching plans. So this one auditor is also doing something else. Unlike us, like I can do audits every day because this is my main job and I'm not doing any other job except for the regular activities that we do. But she's in charge of other work. She's I think in the finance. So she doesn't have time because her work already covers her whole, the whole day of her work already covers that particular job. So how can she audit? So I mentioned it as an observation and then they came back to me and say that, no, we have another one. You should have told it to me in the closing meeting. So it took them long to respond to the audit report, and then eventually they sign it and then they provide some further evidence. I said, I will not accept it. If you want, we can verify in the next audit, but for this audit, please not. You have the time, and I gave you so much time before I finalized the audit report to submit, and it took you long. So that means that either they ask this one person to attend the training and let them finish before they send it to me, or they make Alibaba, which is, I don't care. I've given you so much time already, so I'm not gonna accept. So you do the same. You give time because you wanna be considerate. If you do Alibaba, I don't care, just give me what I want, and then I will not raise it. So, but you don't say, you do Alibaba, I don't care. Ay, sabihin nyo, tinuro ko sa inyo, no? Sabi ni Mami Isay, sabihin mo, you do Alibaba, I don't care. See, techniques used to sabotage audits, time wasting, provocation, yeah, insincerity, like they're saying things that it's not true. Oh yes, you know, we built this very big tower. But it's just in his imagination. So absentee, so they will not attend the audit because all of a sudden they're sick. language barrier, no, you can't understand this Indian guy, no, he's explaining and I couldn't understand the word. What's Cook's tour? Cook's tour is they will bring you everywhere except for the one that you want to find out because it's the problematic. Okay, let's go in this area and then check their process, blah, blah, blah. Ah, we have a very good design team here, blah, blah, blah. But not in the area that you want to own.
I thought they will bring you.
Pwede din, they'll be here in the country.
Pwede
they'll
ako
ask you
dyan,
to
Literal cook.
That's a possibility. Cook for all. I will cook for you. I have salad master. You want to try? Fixed ballot.
Take out.
Take
Take out the cook.
Tapos na yung audit.
Well, fixed ballot, that means that it's similar to bribery.
How we will counter the
Well, it depends on your integrity. If you want to fall for it, then up to you. But I'm telling you, this is not allowed. So, there was one instance. I can't remember where I did it. I was doing an audit, and then they have so many issues, and they gave me like a very nicely wrapped chocolate. And what they didn't know is I am not fond of chocolate.
Salad.
Sorry, it doesn't work. I accepted it, but I gave it to other people. And audit stays the same. It didn't work. Amnesia, like, I can't remember you said that. I can't remember you asked for that question. No, I can't even remember who you are. So, yes. Good luck.
Baby.
Eh, isang juice lang.
Isang juice
Isang juice lang. Favorite ni
So,
DJ.
in the audit report, you have to mention audit objective, audit scope, identification of the audit client, identification of audit team, places and audit activities, audit criteria, audit findings, and audit conclusion. So, here in the audit report, you will see in the first part, I didn't particularly mention the audit objectives and the audit criteria, but I mentioned here refer to audit notice for audit objectives and audit criteria. And then when I sent this final copy, the audit notice is attached. So don't forget because that's a reminder. And then the name of the participants, audit participants. So yeah, that's it. So that's the whole summary, and then the audit conclusion is here. So overall, they have total of. So here I mentioned, no, there's three major issues. So first is the lack of quality control and ensuring the drawings and models adhere to the client and standard quality requirements. Lack of evidence in the implementation of quality control check prior to submission of models. Second, the same quality control process is not evident for the common data environment, blah, blah, and then there is no dedicated QA/QC personnel to check the quality control process. So total, they have 16 observations, 3 best practices. Not to mention. And then it says here, any observation that may have potential impact on the quality and delivery of the required output may be escalated into an NCR if not given proper action. Some observations and areas for improvement are for the audit improvement initiative. Why do we need to put that? Because in our monthly report, we're also monitoring the number of observations being closed. And sometimes you don't really need to focus on the observations because it's all part of the company's improvement initiative. So they can decide whether or not they